Hey, Mike here. Today I'm going to talk about something different than I normally talk about on this channel. If you look through history, various mythologies and folklores around the world feature a variety of fascinating hybrid creatures. Greek mythology gives us centaurs. These are half-human, half-horse archers, alongside satyrs, which are the Roman counterparts. Fauns, both blending human and goat features. The fearsome minotaur, with its bullhead and man's body. That contrasts with Pan, who is the goat-legged god of nature in a different religion. Flying hybrids, which are really cool, include the cruel harpies, the alluring sirens, which actually were flying birds, not mermaids, and then the part woman, part bird, that's a siren, and the enigmatic sphinx. This is a human head on a lion's body. This appears in both Egyptian and Greek lore. A lot of people will go with the Greek part of that. Mesopotamian mythology presents the protective Shedu. This has a human head on a bull's body, which is a disturbing image. It also has birds' wings. So, at the same time, the Sumerian tales tell of a Anzu, the lion-headed eagle. Islamic tradition has the al-Buraq, which is a winged horse with a human face. The Korean folklore has the shape-shifting Kumahu, a fox that can become a human woman. The Hindu and Buddhist myths include the musical Kinnara, which is part human, part bird, and the Arivatava, the multi-headed, sometimes winged elephant, flying elephant. German folklore that contributes the chimeric Walpurgisnacht, the creature that combines features of various animals. Actually, it's a bunch of animals combined together. These beings often symbolize complex interplay between human and animal natures in various cultural narratives. But why? Where creatures like fairies and succubi often appear in mythological settings as supernatural entities, they are often linked to nature, and they can be both benevolent and malevolent. Similarly, other cryptids we see in the modern world capture their elusive and mysterious nature. These entities share commonalities with other cryptids in their blend of human and supernatural traits. This invokes fear and fascination, with a few differences relating to whether or not they have a physical body. I would suggest the former are more likely the spirits of the dead Nephilim. These are what we call demons. Or some of them are also the fallen angels themselves, the creatures that created them. The others, though, are more likely the remnants of their creations, due to genetic tampering and stuff. So, we've established that in ancient times, sin and corruption spread across the earth, much like it does today. However, this was exacerbated by fallen angels who possessed a lot more knowledge than just humans had. The angels mated with human women, producing a race of giants called the Nephilim. Of course, we haven't touched on that yet, but they also engaged in many other acts. This included experimentation with various animals, leading to the birth of monstrous creatures. These beings, similar to many ancient myths and legends, as well as many modern cryptids, possibly even some dinosaurs, wreaked havoc on the world. Now, of course, I'm not saying all dinosaurs were from this. There are actually 2 dinosaurs described in Scripture as being created by God. These are the Sarcosuchus and some kind of sauropod dinosaur. That's the long-necked ones. It's also possible that some of these were actually the results of genetic experimentation by these creatures. This can explain the presence of extraordinary and fearsome creatures in our world, laying a mythological foundation for modern cryptids. While I don't believe in all cryptids, for example, Bigfoot, the blurry image that you see in very poorly taken photos, usually taken by drunk people lost in the woods, they are different colors in different areas of the world, and they just happen to match the same color as the bears that are indigenous to that area. And bears can stand on their hind legs. Look up a video of a bear walking on its hind legs, and you will see it looks just like what people call Bigfoot. Other mysterious entities, though, could be seen as remnants of these ancient monsters, really. The interbreeding experiments and resulting hybrids give us an origin account for the diverse creatures that are repeated in folklore around the world. Even though there's different mythologies, they're all actually the same things. So the fascination with cryptids may stem from these ancient stories. People still understand that there are other things in this world. This symbolizes humanity's deep-seated fear and curiosities about the unknown and the supernatural alike. Now let's look at a couple other diverse cultures and see what they have to say, ones that are not as well known in the West. So in Romanian folklore is pretty cool. There are these creatures called the Solomonari. Imagine, for lack of any better way to describe it, basically wizards wandering around carrying magical books of knowledge. But these aren't your run-of-the-mill street illusions like you'd see on a magic show. They're genuine magic. They can wield power over storms and hail and control time and space, really, as if it was second nature. But what's particularly intriguing is these Solinari are not born with these powers. They are human. They undergo rigorous training, and they once they master these technologies, no, these abilities, they retreat to remote dwellings and caves, observing humanity, much like the Watchers were supposed to do. But they have a mixture of detachment and amusement toward humans. These humans are almost like the fallen angels themselves. And what's worse, or it's sad, is they didn't really choose this. They were abducted at a very young age, from toddler to small child. Then they are not allowed contact with their families. If you want to look to fiction, like modern fiction, for something analogous to this, they're like the Jedi Order. If you've ever watched Star Wars, you'll understand that analogy. But their abilities don't stop at mere weather manipulation. The Solminari take a step further by summoning and riding dragons. That is in their mythology, in Romania. One has to wonder about the practicality of dragon transportation compared to more convenient methods. But there's no denying it seems like it'd be awesome, right? That's what they want you to think. So the parallels between the Solminari and the fallen angels of the Bible are striking. Both groups exchange forbidden knowledge, and weather control is a feature in both, actually, if you've read the Book of Enoch. It's as if the Solminari are the Romanian interpretation of these rebellious celestial beings. They dispense weather-altering secrets and weaponry and stuff to a select few. Basically, this is a cult. We can't overlook the Belari here. They are basically the dragons. They have multiple heads, massive serpentine bodies, and power that would make even the mightiest of other mystical beings envious. These multi-headed creatures bring to mind the multi-faced angels of Revelation. It's as if the Solminari are in fact the Seraphim, the original kernel of truth behind conventional dragon lore. So, these winged creatures that we see in modern cryptids. Let's look at Mothman, Jersey Devil, and others. Share a blend of supernatural features and ominous reputations. Mothman was reported in the 1960s in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and is described as a humanoid figure with glowing red eyes and large wings. What's fun is actually that he was described as looking like a bat, but they didn't want to get him confused with Batman, so they called him Mothman. I'm not sure what the train of thought there was, but whatever. So don't think moth wings, think more like bat wings. Witnesses describe a severe sense of dread when seeing Mothman, which is likening it to impending disasters. When people encounter demonic entities, they often feel a sense of impending doom and dread. That's self-explanatory what the connection there is. Similarly, the Jersey Devil, reported in, obviously, New Jersey, since the 18th century, actually, in Pine Barrens. It is depicted as a creature with a horse's head, bat-like wings, horns, and a tail. Does it sound familiar from what I mentioned a couple minutes ago? Its hybrid appearance perfectly matches the kinds of creations you would expect from the Watchers, and it is reminiscent of mythological chimeras, and could actually be an attempt to make a new angel-like class of physical offspring. Perhaps bodies for the Nephilim to inhabit. The spirits of the Nephilim, I mean. Most of these experiments failed horribly, though. Genetic modification never goes well. Doesn't matter if it's humans or angels doing it. So across the globe, yes, it's a globe, other winged cryptids exhibit similar mysterious and terrifying characteristics. The thunderbird of Native American mythology is a massive bird-like creature associated with storms and with protection. It was called the thunderbird actually because they would ride in on storms, and the belief was that they were bringing the storm in. But if I've actually seen a documentary on dinosaurs, weirdly enough, where the pterodactyl was almost too large to fly without good updrafts, such as you'd have at the front of a thunderstorm. So a pterodactyl-like creature could be flying on a storm front, which would look like it's dragging the storm in behind it. So Indonesia's Ahwal is a giant bat-like creature with a vast wingspan, very similar to a pterodactyl, haunting the dense jungles of Java. The Filipino Manananggal is a vampire-like creature which can sever its upper torso and flies. And it's basically a vampire, but not with teeth like you're thinking. It uses a proboscis, much like a mosquito has. And unfortunately, this one, it feeds on internal organs, but sadly, it actually targets pregnant women mostly. This reflects fears around childbirth and nocturnal predators. The severance of its various upper body parts could be our actual witnessing of different components of its body in 4 dimensions interacting in a way we're not used to where it's not actually separating, it just appears to be separating to us in 3D. Keep in mind, angels are not three-dimensional flesh and blood creatures. They can just look that way. In Papua New Guinea, the Ropan is described as a bioluminescent pterosaur-like creature, likening it to an ancient dragon, and the idea of prehistoric survivors. Keep in mind, these angels could have ruled the world at one point, and that's where a lot of the dragon lore comes from, and there's a reason people would have been afraid of them. Look through the Bible, when any of the good angels encounter someone, the first thing they have to say is, be not afraid. There's a reason. They're terrifying. This could be a failed attempt at making a fully Earth genetic variant in 3D of a seraphim's body. Now, back to Romanian mythology. The Zmiu, that's a fun word to say, Zmiu, is a type of dragon or ogre-like creature. It's often depicted as a malevolent being, because it is. The Zmiu often kidnaps young women and steals valuable objects. And heroes often embark on quests to defeat these things. It possesses great strength and sometimes magical abilities, making it a formidable adversary in folklore and tales. Now, skinwalkers, they're getting to be very popular on conspiracy boards. Skinwalkers and Wendigos in the Native American folklore further enrich the pantheon of terrifying beings. Skinwalkers associated with the Navajo legends are witches that can transform into animals, possessing immense power and sinister nature. Keep in mind, these angels have the ability to take any form they want. The Wendigo is an Algonquin mythology, and it is a malevolent spirit or creature that embodies insatiable greed, often associated with cannibalism. And there are, of course, traits that connect them to the Nephilim. But these guys are more often depicted with antlers and other animalistic features, which would be expected with the angelic hybridization. Keep in mind what kind of animals were used in the hybridization. These cryptids bear similarities to hybrid creatures created by fallen angels, as described in ancient texts. The fallen angels, with their vast knowledge, engage in forbidden acts with humans and animals. This produced monstrous hybrids. These beings, much like the cryptids, possessed a blend of human and animalistic characteristics. This invokes fear and actually can symbolize chaos in their community. The seraphim, these angels, are known for multiple wings, 6 specifically, and a fiery appearance. This could further inspire and could be the creators of these terrifying winged cryptids. Keep in mind they were trying to create something in their own image, much like God did. They could have attempted to merge divine attributes with these monstrous animalistic forms. Now, over in Hindu mythology, which is really cool, there's the Rishis. They seem like ancient sages with profound wisdom and wander the forest and mountain peaks. But they're not just spiritual teachers. These are powerful beings which can influence reality itself. And just like over in the Romanian mythology, they are not born this way. They earn their status through intense meditation and spiritual practices over their lifetime. After becoming one of these creatures, these sages often live as isolated hermits, observing the world from afar. They are viewed in that culture as being like demigods, half human, half god, which the Nephilim would have certainly been considered. They exist as kind of an amalgamation of the mortal and divine realms. Remember the promise made by the serpent in the Garden of Eden, as recorded in the book of Genesis. You will be like God. Now, unlike the Solmanari, the Rishis usually choose this path willingly, just like Adam and Eve did, driven by a desire for higher knowledge. The difference is these people seem to be given demonic powers and let them alter matter, travel through time and space, teleportation and time travel, and they can even create or destroy worlds in that mythology. One of their most impressive skills is summoning and writing Vimanas. These are flying vehicles, which are a mix of advanced technology and mystical energy. There are interesting parallels between the Rishis and divine beings like the Devas, which are what the Hindus call their gods, which we know to be fallen angels. Both have deep cosmic knowledge and supernatural powers. They show humans that they might ascend to nearly godlike status through spiritual evolution, which is the making of a cult, obviously, but also in the same vein as the serpent in the Garden of Eden. And keep in mind, these were serpentine creatures anyway. When talking about them, it's worth mentioning the Asuras, which are occasionally the rivals, but they are the ones that trained the humans. The Asuras are powerful fallen beings with immense strength and magical abilities that appear to rival God, according to people in that culture. But we know better. With their multiple arms, fierce appearance, and shape-shifting powers, four-dimensional characteristics, they are somewhat formidable, like the Balarai in the Romanian stories. It's clear that these beings are the same, and we know from scripture what they really are. So if you ever notice unexplained natural events or bursts of sudden insight, maybe a Rishis is nearby, quietly influencing things. And keep in mind, some people that have changed the world are from these cultures, and they've been given great knowledge. Even in our scientific age, there's something intriguing about the idea of enlightening sages to shape cosmic events with their wisdom and supernatural abilities. So many ancient cultures believe in this stuff, whereas the Bible shows us what it truly is. The hybrid creations, or the fallen angels, and these cryptids also share a few common themes. They are often depicted as amalgamations of various animals and humans, and they have both physical and supernatural qualities. The presence of specific animalistic features like wings, glowing eyes, and bioluminescent features are all seen in both cryptids and hybrids of these fallen angels. The creatures challenge boundaries of scientific understanding and invite speculation about the nature of these entities. So, are they all just drunken, uneducated people lost in the woods seeing blurry shapes that even modern cameras can't quite capture because there's nothing there? Or are there these terrifying cryptids and they are the remnants of genetic tampering here on Earth? So, think about this, and I want you to let me know in the comments, what's your favorite cryptid? Did I mention it? Did I miss it? You want to hear about this in another video? So just let me know down in the comments what you thought and what you want to hear next. Thank you, and have a blessed day.